All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you. And the first thing I want to talk about is it's number 2 of, oh boy, what did Coinbase do now? So, Coinbase just can't seem to stay out of the angry spotlight. And I'm really surprised if they are continuing to grow. Just because of the previous fee increase and then never really adding a whole lot of tokens, coins to the platform, being so regulated, also hiring a bunch of hackers to work for them who had previously basically hacked the citizens of other worldly nations, etc. But now, once again, the fees are increasing. So you might have received this email already. If you have a Coinbase account, the emails went out. Maybe you just didn't check them because who does? But uproar as Bitcoin exchange Coinbase Pro hikes fees by up to 233%. So big upgrade. So Coinbase used to be great. Coinbase was like the best exchange, in my opinion, back in the day, which was even just a year and a half ago. They had zero maker of liquidity fees. And that was amazing because if you weren't trading a lot, maybe you were just trading a few Litecoin or something, just having fun. And, you know, if you sell Litecoin at 10 cents, it goes up 10 cents, goes down 10 cents. You're just making these tiny little trades, just having fun. Well, you know, normally those fees would really add up, or perhaps the fees would actually be bigger than what you would make if you only sold Litecoin a few cents higher or something like that. I don't know why you would, but that was the fun thing about it. And if you had just a little bit of Bitcoin, you could just continuously frequently sell and buy over and over because there were just no fees as long as you were doing it with a limit. But now those are gone, and those were taken away quite a while ago. And now we have even bigger fees. So they confirmed that the new fee schedule would apply to all Coinbase Pro users from Monday next week. So Coinbase Pro is the Pro Advanced for traders, even though it's not quite particularly advanced, and they have absolutely no form of any kind of TA materials or anything, no RSI, no anything like that. You sort of have to go somewhere else and have that tab open. So Coinbase Pro, dude, where are my indicators? Coinbase openly admitted the new fee schedule favored high-volume traders and disadvantaged smaller ones. But that's not what the Coinbase blog shows or the email that you got. So this is effectively the email that you would have got. So Coinbase Pro will implement a new fee structure designed to increase the depth and liquidity of our markets. Total bullshit. In order to respond to client needs, Coinbase periodically updates pricing. What? Are you kidding? You mean like investor needs? Are you sure like shareholder? You're not meaning like shareholder needs, right? Because if you're updating your pricing and going higher, that's just pricing people off of your platform. Because now, I mean, why not just go to Binance US? Why not go to Kraken? Why not even go to KuCoin or some other exchange that has 0.15% fees or a quarter of a percent fees at that? So the new fees, these were the old fees. I have this page up. So let me just show you. So they did this in a confusing way, and I think they did that on purpose because you can see here that the taker fee and then the maker fee. Then you go to the new one and it's maker then taker. So they flipped those two around to make it look a little different. So, and another thing you'll notice they did is that the pricing up to $100,000, and that's monthly trading. That's like a trailing monthly volume that you do. So if you trade over, $100,000 in a month, your fees become lower. But I'm sure most of the people that watch this, including myself, I don't trade over $100,000 a month, obviously. So it's nowhere close. So the new fee schedule here is 0 to 10,000. You have a 0.5% maker and taker. That's well over 50% for the taker. Double the taker, because the taker used to be 0.25, now it's 0.50, and then the maker fee used to be 0.15, and now it's 0.50, both. So now, if you're not trading over 10,000, there is no reason to set a limit order, basically. You might as well, if you're just a small trader on Coinbase Pro, you might as well just hit the market buy and sell button, because you're not saving any money by doing it any differently, including up to $50,000 worth of trading in a month, because then it's 0.35% after 10,000. So again, back to it, the taker was 0.25% before up to $100,000. and the maker was 0.15%. So you can see that the difference is that this latest update will be slightly increase fees for lower volume customers and reduce fees for higher volume customers. Now, this kind of makes sense from a corporate perspective, saying that, well, our small traders, they don't really make as much money anyway, even though probably the majority of traders are small traders, just trading a few hundred, maybe a few $1,000. The minority are definitely whales. So if you're trading over $1 billion in a month, you pay virtually nothing on Coinbase. And that's the way it was before. In fact, it was 0% for a maker, and it still is. And it's actually slightly less. So it used to be for $1 billion plus, it used to be 0.05%. Now it's 0.04% for them billionaires. So again, if you look at these closely, it's basically anybody who's trading small amounts gets totally destroyed on Coinbase Pro. So this seems like another nail in the coffin for Coinbase Pro for me. I haven't traded on Coinbase Pro in a while. The only thing I use Coinbase for is a fiat on-ramp and off-ramp. That's what I think Coinbase is really great for, is putting money on there. Just a few days later, it will show up from a bank transfer, and then buying something, and then just sending it to, buying USDC, buying Tether, buying Bitcoin or something like that, and then sending it to a different exchange to actually trade. And then, if you want to cash out on that different exchange, just cash out to USDC, send it to Coinbase, and then cash that out to cash and send it to your bank account. That's what Coinbase is great for. And I'm waiting on the day that it's not free to send money to Coinbase, like with a bank transfer, and to receive it. Because that is currently free. That's always been free on Coinbase, and that's what's great. So if I want, to put $1,000 into the crypto market, boom, $1,000 to Coinbase a few days later, buy it, send it to a different exchange to actually trade, because these fees are actually starting to get pretty egregious, and they're really just pricing their small customers out. Another interesting thing is that Binance US just came out. So it's like they're not even trying to compete. It's like when you're going down the road and there's a gas station right across the street and there's a gas station across the other side of the street. And one of them is $3 a gallon and the other one is like $2.90 a gallon. And you're like, why do you do that exactly? Like, why wouldn't you just go outside, look at your competitor and going, oh, they're 10 cents lower, I'm going to match that. And then you can see that there's nobody at the one that's higher, and there's a line of cars at the one that's lower. It just doesn't make sense. I think Coinbase is trying to become a bank. That's what they're doing. They want that fiat on-ramp. They want people to hold USDC on the exchange, and let me just show you that as well. So you may have also gotten an email about Coinbase to pay users 1.25% blazing interest on USDC stablecoin holding. So if you just have your stablecoin on Coinbase on the app, you can open up your app and you can see the USDC accumulating with interest. Now that's great. So that means that Coinbase really wants you to hold that USDC on your account and let it sit there. They want to be a bank. In fact, your US dollar on Coinbase is already FDIC insured. They're basically a bank. And they're trying to cater to the institutional investor, trying to get millions and billions of dollars in there. Your $200 that you deposit in there, apparently they don't care about that. That's not a thing anymore. So this is the slow corporatization of cryptocurrency. We're just going to see these little tiny updates that people don't fight about. And that's the way you do things. If you want to do something bad in this world, you do it a little bit. And you do it a little bit and a little bit, and people don't really care if it's just a little bit at a time. Now, if Coinbase instantly took away the limit fees and then raised these fees all the way up to this right off the bat, then people would be up arms about it. But nobody seems to care at the moment. Now, people are not happy about the prices, but this is the way you do things. You just do these little tiny implementations that change the game to the way you want. And they want institutional investors. They want those huge, huge fees. And they're pricing their smaller people right out of the market. So I don't recommend trading on Coinbase Pro anymore. I used to love Coinbase Pro. That was my number one exchange. I felt it was very easy to use. The volume was great. The free limit orders were amazing. But that's all gone now. So I just recommended using Coinbase anymore as a fiat on-ramp and then sending it to an exchange of your choice that has fees that are basically 3, 4, or 5 times as low. So anyway, starting Wednesday, customers of Coinbase can earn interest on their holdings of the dollar-pegged stablecoin USDC. The annual percentage yield, the API, is 1.25%. So users of the exchange with at least $1 worth of USDC in their accounts will automatically begin to accrue rewards on their holdings with no additional fees, costs or fees. Paid out to users on a monthly basis, so it is compounding monthly. So APY compounding monthly, so 1.25% at the end of the month. You're going to get it, then you're going to get 1.25% on that, which is great. But again, 1.25% is virtually nothing. I mean, you'd have to have $1 million in there to really see many gains, in my opinion. It's just not a lot, considering that there's DAI contracts that are giving like 8%, 10%. There's also I can't remember the place that is talking about. They have like upwards of 10%, but it's non-compounding. So it actually might even be in like the comments. Somebody might have said it. No, apparently not. But I can't remember. There's a thing that's going around on Twitter. Like whenever you see Coinbase on Twitter, everybody's saying that there's better rewards, there's better interest rates elsewhere. To some degree, I trust those other places less that are offering like 8% and 10%. The reason why is you might be able to get 10% for a few months or something. Maybe the market starts to crash, as it always seems to do, and goes up as it always seems to do. Are you going to continue getting that 10% for a long time? It's very unlikely. Are they going to exit scam anymore today? Very likely. I hate to say that, I really do, but being in the crypto world long enough really makes you skeptical. Just because when somebody offers you something that's too good to be true in the crypto world, 99% of the time it totally is. So it's really not bad, 1.25, but if you think about it, that's sort of less than, without the compounding, even with the compounding, that's probably less than the actual inflation rate of the United States, which is usually about 2 to 3% a year. So if you go to a bank and you go, I would like to open a savings account, what's your interest rate? And they're like, oh, it's 1.5%. Well, you're literally losing money. You're actually losing money by putting that in your savings account. Now, if you put that in your savings account just so that a few months later you can get it out, or go on vacation or something like that, just for a place to like literally hold it for a small period of time, not bad, right? That's what a savings account is all about. But if you're looking to actually put money into a savings account and then get it 10, 20 years later, no investor would ever tell you to do that, ever. Because literally the percentage of interest rate is less than the inflation rate. So by holding 10, 20, 50, $100,000 in there, 10, 20 years later, that's actually worth less than you should have spent it, basically. It would have actually been better off being spent or invested into the stock market or mutual stock or something else. So this is actually pretty low. And everybody's saying, especially there's DeFi, Compound, that offer way higher interest rates. So I don't understand what the appeal is going to be about that. I think the best appeal of the interest rate on Coinbase for USDC is the fact that Coinbase is, I would say, the safest exchange in the world. I would like to call it the safest exchange. First of all, it's insured. It's really regulated. Like Binance, for example, is just in Malta, and there's no rules in Malta. So if they get totally destroyed or hacked, CZ is just going to roll back the Bitcoin blockchain like he said he wanted to do. So Coinbase, absolutely, probably the safest exchange for sure. At least top 2, top 3 safest exchange. So that's, I guess, a bonus, but again, it's just not enough. I'm waiting for them to increase that rate, because 1.25, it's just not good enough. So moving on here, and this is sort of some FUD that's been going around, and so let me clear this up first of all. And I don't know if it's FUD or not, so let me just go into this saying that this could potentially be FUD. So the CEO of beaxy exchange, as the exchange struggles to remain solvent, or disappears as it remains insolvent. So beaxy exchange came up a while ago, and I remember receiving emails about it to like shill it and stuff. And I took a look at the exchange, and it's not too bad. This is the exchange here, and it's really not bad. They got a nice referral program, they got a nice loyalty program, and they sort of have a BNB sort of type thing where you lower fees for using their coin. But so they reported a major exploit on beaxy in August. So somebody reported an exploit on beaxy in August, so which resulted in an artificial 40% crash of the XRP BTC pair. The hacker got away with about 43 BTC, 111,000 XRP. By all accounts, it seemed to be caused by incompetence and negligence, as the exchange failed to properly install the wallet as per Ripple's own instructions. beaxy was the only exchange affected by that exploit, because they didn't change the wallet. So the controversy didn't stop there. A week later, it started to become clear that the exploit left beaxy insolvent. The attacker was able to make 35 withdrawals in total. However, it seems to be the plot is thickening even more, with rumors circulating regarding the CEO's disappearance, which, if true, may mark the end of the short-lived exchange. So a lot of YouTubers were interviewing the creator or employees of beaxy. They were going around sending emails out to other YouTubers and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I got one of these. And I took a look at it, and I thought for a second I was going to check out this exchange. And it didn't go under, so all the funds are still there, apparently. But I would imagine if everybody starts to withdraw, it might not be good. So people asking, are you alive? Thus, there has been no response. The CEO Artak Hamazah I got nothing, disappearing. So some have even gone as far as to say that he dumped his tokens and left in what we can effectively call an exit scam. The story is still developing, but the CEO would still be smart to rear his head and comment on his alleged disappearance. And because of that, because of this FUD, because of him being missing, we could see that the beaxy coin, if you will, which was apparently valued at something like 2.5 cents at its high, or at least recent high. And you could even see here, this is CoinMarketCap. Look at this like shadow down here. This is volume. So you can see it's going down, but the volume is super high. That's just a massive amount of sellers just dumping as fast as they can their beaxy tokens. But going to their Twitter, this is the beaxy Twitter, and it says, just put this out there. My beaxy tweets were trolling jokes. From what I could tell, the CEO is just taking time off. So somebody was just joking. Rumors that our CEO has disappeared are false and represent attacks on beaxy. He simply missed a panel due to family emergency. He has addressed our community directly, which I haven't seen that, and will continue giving updates. We've been hard at work on features and liquidity that you want. Okay, so maybe. So that's just one person. So I don't think it's just like, I was just joking. But, other people are joking too that, how to lose, how I turned 20K into 3K with beaxy, a thread. It's one of 43, but it's really not actually 43 threads. It's just a joke because the price really super dumped pretty quick. Here's the thing, though, with this is that, again, being in crypto so long, you become a skeptic pretty quickly. And I think that skepticism sometimes gets in the way and is a good thing. It saves you, but it also prevents, good things from happening as well. So here's the thing. If I was beaxy and my CEO disappeared, what would you say? Probably that there's always two ways to go about it. You say, oh, no, they're here. They're just at a family emergency, so you can get your things together so that you could exit scam, or you could become solvent so that you could pay everybody out when you go under. Or you tell everybody, hey, you just be honest. Hey, the CEO disappeared, but all of our employees are still here, and we're still keeping the exchange functioning. But if you said that, the price would tank even more. So it's hard to say. It's kind of like when an exchange gets hacked and they say, we're going down for extended maintenance or unexpected maintenance, and everybody says, oh, they got hacked. Which 9 out of 10 times they did. So again, you got two choices. You either say, hey, we got hacked. You know what I mean? And so, what do we announce on Twitter? Well, you got two options. You either say, you either give yourself some time by saying you're in unexpected maintenance that, maybe you can recover some, or maybe it was just an error. Maybe, somebody had lost some kind of key, and they're like, I lost this, and I think we got hacked. But really, I just ended up putting them in these wallets. Oh, we're fine. Wipe your brow. Or you just say outright that you got hacked, which leads everybody into a frenzy that they all start, withdrawing from your platform or something. So it's hard to even trust. What if you actually did go in unexpected maintenance? Oh, we wrote a script wrong and everything crashed. we're in unexpected maintenance, and everybody starts freaking out saying that you've been hacked, but you're really not. So it's hard to say anymore. So moving on here, Craig Wright relying on coffee stains and rusty staples in McCormick case. So he's trying to sue for libel Peter McCormick, which is not going to happen because Peter McCormick basically said he was a fraud and was not Satoshi Nakamoto. And Craig Wright has failed to ever prove that he is not a fraud or Satoshi Nakamoto. So again, if you want to say that that's libel and you take somebody to court, you'd have to prove that it isn't or that it is libel. And to prove that it is libel, you'd have to prove that you are Satoshi Nakamoto. So if somebody, said something horrible about me in the paper or something like that, and it wasn't true, I'd have to take them to court and say, hey, that's not true, and they'd have to prove that it's true. And then if I took them to court, I said, hey, that what they're saying about me is false. It is true. I am Satoshi. And the judge would be like, okay, well, prove that you are Satoshi. Because, if you're not Satoshi, it's not libel. If you are Satoshi, it's libel. At best. So anyway, Ayer had been asked about the date of the impending court between Wright and McCormick. So this isn't with the Kleiman estate. We've moved on from that. Whatever happened with all that, nobody even knows. He's supposed to owe $500,000, and then they're like, well, there's more discovery to be had. I don't even think the Bitcoin even exists. Does the Bitcoin exist? I don't know. How do you give 500,000 Bitcoin to somebody, which is like billions of dollars? Who knows? He said, not following it as I am busy. He started to respond. He should have finished right there where his ego should have allowed him. Sadly for Ayer, he just couldn't resist crowing about it a bit, claiming he had some of the boxes of historical documents. You just got boxes of historical documents, providing a mountain of evidence. Wright's legal team were supposedly putting them together from the boxes. These documents included old versions of the white paper. I bet old versions of the white paper just sitting around in boxes, right? These historical white paper documents from Bitcoin, previous to actually writing them on a computer, they're all handwritten. Totally. And printed with his notes and coffee on them and rusty staples. So there's coffee stains on them and, of course, rusty staples. But they're in a box. So, where'd you put them? Like in a box at the bottom of the ocean? And then they just raise every 10 minutes so that they get rusty real fast? Sure, rusty staples get rusty. But, I'm not sure I have any rusty staples in my house. How long does it take for a staple to get rusty? You'd have to, leave it outside? If it's in a box, it's dry, right? What kind of area is this box in exactly that it's got rusty staples on it? Because of the coffee? Or, is the coffee stains just on the paper? I don't know. God, it's so much bullshit. Come on, guys. This is such bullshit anymore. Can we just stop for a second and just say how much bullshit this is? Craig Wright saying that he's Satoshi. If you seriously believe that Craig Wright is Satoshi, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. You're an idiot. Okay, you can't just believe somebody because they said something. If it's a good friend and he's like, hey, man, I went to the store and I got a free cup of coffee today. They just said, you know what? Screw it. Just take the coffee. It's a good day. You know what I mean? The cashier. And I was like, thank you. And I walked out and I saved $1.09, right? And if it was your good friend, he'd be like, man, that was really cool, right? But if it was just some guy, and he says that he's Satoshi Nakamoto. Apparently, somebody who literally deserves the Nobel Prize for economics, who has changed basically the face of the planet in terms of crypto. And you just says that, you need evidence, right? If you just believe that because they made ABC and because your bags are riding on Bitcoin SV or whatever, right? And you need to believe that Satoshi is because you bought Bitcoin SV and now your bags are getting real heavy or whatever. Just come on. This is so stupid anymore. Yes, Craig, the reason people have called out your forgeries in the past was all down to them being printed on pristine white A4. Nothing to do with sometimes literally impossible that they be genuine. Copying out the white paper in your own handwriting should do the trick, but best add some coffee stains and some staples and some rusty staples to add to the effect. So I'm sure that somebody's gonna, if he takes this to court, if he takes rusty staples and coffee stains to court on a piece of paper, and somebody does some kind of scientific analysis on this, and they'd be like, this coffee was poured on here 2 months ago. We just carbon dated it. This coffee's 2 months old. It's just stop. It's over. But that's all I have for you guys today. No coin market cap today. We're going to go ahead and skip that one. We're still at about 8,100, 8,000. Are we going to continue going down? I don't know. Interestingly enough, I did read that 7,700 was sort of the zone at which, we're not really going to go under anymore, the resistance zone, if you will. And turns out that was kind of the case. So far, so good, still at 8,000. Now, just remember, though, that the halving of Bitcoin is coming in May, and all those news articles that are going to come out before that, all those Reddit posts, all those forum posts, those are going to raise the price. That hype, buy the rumor, sell the news, that halving hype. And also realize that every year, there's sort of a high or low. So low or high every year, whether or not, like, we get, next year it might be 16,000 Bitcoin, but with a low of, something like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. And that would be good every year if the low is higher and higher and higher, means that we just have this average higher price Bitcoin every time. Doesn't need to reach that all-time high. Doesn't need to go to 50,000, 100,000. You just need to have an investment that has a lower high every year. And that's, so far, that is what we have. But that's all I have for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the channel, share the video. Helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. But as usual, I will see you guys next time.